Julie, thank you so much for joining us today. It is a pleasure to see you as always.
Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. All right, so let's get right to it here. A lot of stuff to talk about, including this event from the Independent Women's Forum that is coming up here. When is this? Is this June the 2nd? Is that right?
June 2nd, Women Lead panel. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of issues that are important to women, economic issues, and really kind of, driving home that same message that IWF tries to drive home every day, which is one that limited government is good for women. Less government intervention is something we should all strive for. So we'll be having a lot of panels, and I'm happy to say that you have agreed to moderate the panel that I will be on later in the afternoon. So if you're interested in this and seeing Cam in a room with a bunch of women, go to IWF. Go to IWF.org. There's under events, you can register. It's free to come. So if you're in the Washington, D.C. area, you're welcome to come. It's going to be a great day.
Do we know what the what our panel is going to be about? You just asked me if I'd do this, and I love the Independent Women's Forum, and you're such a friend of the show. So I said, sure. I don't even know what we're talking about, but what are we talking about?
We're going to talk about hairstyles that women really like. Do you think you're okay to talk about that issue?
Oh, excellent. I'm an expert on hairstyles that women really like. I hope they like the bald look. It's my opinion that they really like bald disguised with a baseball cap. That's
right. That's why we asked you to moderate the panel.
Yeah.
No, of course, we're going to be talking about culture of alarmism, food and regulations and activists making us all nervous from, GMOs to guns to food to all sorts of things. So it's going to be a fun panel.
Awesome. All right. Well, speaking of the culture of alarmism, so one of the weirdest headlines that I've seen recently, Julie, is the world is too much food.
Yeah.
That's really not a headline that I don't think I'll ever get used to seeing, because for most of human history, the headline was portions of the world are starving because there's not enough food. Right now, we've gone from starvation in our lifetime, starvation really being the primary enemy of the human diet, to obesity.
Yeah, you think
now being the biggest issue.
You think back to '82. I remember Bob Geldof, right? We Are the World, like the big, anti-starvation movement, and that hit song that came out. That's sort of my generation. Now, you're right. It has been a complete reversal. We shouldn't forget, though. I understand this movement, but there still is terrible problems with starvation around the world. Problems that can probably be solved largely, or at least alleviated, with technology. Technology often that environmental activists rage against. But yeah, it's strange to see this change. And again, I think I hope people aren't distracted and sort of get the idea that starvation and hunger is not a problem, even in this country.
We're talking about soda taxes right now on the Democratic side of the debate.
Right.
Because there is, once again, we have found an area of slight disagreement between the outright socialist and Hillary Clinton. And Hillary Clinton is all for the soda tax. Bernie Sanders says, no, soda taxes are regressive. Let's ban cigarettes instead. Honestly, that
he almost had it right. He was almost there.
He said to Meet the Press.
Yeah.
Right? It's like so close. Wait, no, I'm a socialist. Yeah, I know. It's weird. But we still need to legalize marijuana. He is all over the map on this stuff.
Poor Bernie.
Whatever. Poor Bernie. But Hillary Clinton says, listen, this is great. This can help alleviate obesity, while at the same time in Philadelphia funding
schools, infrastructure, pensions,
universal pre-K, right?
Yeah, because they have a spending problem.
Where do you stand on the?
Where do you think?
And so where do you stand on these soda taxes? And are these taxes actually a part of the culture of alarmism?
Absolutely. This riles me up. And actually, if anyone's interested, I actually wrote a policy paper on specifically the Philly tax at IWF.org. So check it out there if you're interested in just why it's regressive and other issues. But look, when the Philly mayor actually, he doesn't try to hide the fact that this is not going to any sort of anti-obesity efforts, okay? They never do. They never do. These are revenue raisers for politicians who cannot stop spending taxpayer dollars. This is the largest tax on a soda ever proposed. And it's going to schools, and this is what they do. Politicians say, oh, I'm going to put a tax on something that people think is the cause of a health problem. And then no one's going to disagree with me. And then I'm going to fund things that people would never disagree with. Don't forget, he's also going to fund his pension plan, which he rated to fund other things. I mean, they can't stop spending. So instead of reining it in and prioritizing and being a good public servant and a good, a steward of taxpayer dollars, they just institute new taxes so that more money comes in and then they can continue to spend it on things. And again, the idea, and Hillary Clinton suggesting that this is going to be is going to fight obesity. The mayor, he admits this is not going towards anti-obesity efforts. And again, as I said, they never do. So, this won't do. Look, if you look at obese people in this country, they don't drink high sugar cereal. They drink diet sodas. The other statistic that matters is soda sales are going way down. Okay, so then it also sets up this this weird situation where you're taxing people for doing things that you're saying don't do, and yet you're then funding things that are noble, schools and pensions. So, I mean, what do you want? Do you want people to do this and then to use this money to? So it's sort of this weird dichotomy where you're punishing people and you're encouraging them not to do the very thing you're using to fund what you consider noble causes. So it's I mean, the argument is always, well, we want people to do less of it. At the same time, I think there is that recognition among the planners that human nature. You know what? If it's not going to take too much of a bite out of someone's wallet at a time, 3 cents an ounce for a 12-ounce soda, that's going to be 36 cents extra every time you pay in taxes, right? Yeah.
That is going to stop some people, but it's not going to stop a lot of people. And so they look at what people will bear, because it's really, at the end of the day, it's not about making people healthier. You're right, Julie. It's not. At the end of the day, this is a revenue stream. And if they really wanted people to stop drinking soda, again, they would pass that pie in the sky $500 tax on every big gulp, right? And nobody would drink big gulps. Hillary Clinton proposes. Well, I was going to say, when it comes to guns, Hillary Clinton has in the past proposed this 25% tax on every gun purchase. Now, she could propose, a 10,000% tax, but that would be kind of blatant and obvious. So, what is that? What's enough to really make it egregious, to kind of make it hurt some people, and at the same time to give us some money? And
it really galls me too that these politicians say, oh, this is going to solve the obesity crisis, which is, I mean, it's just a lie, because they can't possibly believe that. If you look at the studies on these taxes, this is what happens. It might reduce soda consumption, but what people do, it's called replacement theory. So they look around, they see that the soda has an extra tax on it, it's slightly more expensive, so they make a replacement. Cornell University did this fascinating study where they did increase the price of soda in these certain stores, and they observed what people did. Guess what they did? They replaced soda with beer. Okay? People will find a replacement, and it's not just beer. If you tax something and make it unavailable, so to the poor who can't, who might not have the access to get out of town, to go outside Philly's city limits, and because I bet people are going to start going to the suburbs to buy their soda. So you've got the poor if they can. So you've got the poor that will shoulder most of the burden of this tax. But if they do, every nutrition study has shown that people will they'll switch to juices, they'll switch to other sugary content or high fat foods or high calorie foods. So people get the calories no matter what. They'll just go to a lower cost item. So it's really frustrating, I think, from a public health standpoint too. And I wish that what's frustrating to me is that you see no commentary about the efficacy of these policies coming from the nutritionists.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
It's
know.
not about efficacy of the
know.
policies. I mean, again, we've just established
naive
this.
of
But
me.
here's the thing. If you are concerned about obesity, there is something that you can do. As a matter of fact, there's this video. I want you to take a look at this video, Julie. I saw this earlier today. To me, this just blew my mind. This was the best sort of viral ad campaign, and it is an ad campaign, but this is a really, really well done. Take a look at this video talking about, talking about what we can do to fight obesity.
Okay.
I didn't know what freedom was until it was taken from me. It's devastating. I've had who I am inside stripped away. You can never escape the walls. You can never escape your mind. Then imagine they open your door. You have time to walk out that door and feel the sun on your face. It's everything to me.
My daily outdoors time, I think that's probably the most important part of my day.
Take all the frustrations and all your problems and just leave them out there.
Keeps my mind right, keeps my body strong. It's pretty much the highlight of my day.
So, how would you feel if your yard time was reduced to just 1 hour a day?
Yeah. What am I supposed to tell you how I feel about that?
I'm gonna feel pretty sad about it.
I think that's gonna build more anger, it's not gonna be a good thing.
Would be torture.
I think cutting the offender's outside time to an hour a day is potentially disastrous.
Well, do you know who does have only 1 hour outdoors per day? Children.
Wow.
That's depressing.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Something has gone very wrong.
Even as I sit in here and as a prisoner, I mean, yeah, that's not good.
If you don't have to throw the kids in the bathtub, they haven't played hard enough.
Climb a tree, break a leg, that's part of life.
Learn to be a kid.
So, if you could have one wish, what would it be?
I wish I could take my kid to a park today.
All right, so there you go. Go send your kid outside and go let them run around, and then I guess buy personal detergent and clean their jeans afterwards. That's the corporate plug. But I got to tell you, I mean, as far as a corporate campaign goes, Julie, I thought this was really understated. This was far less about the product, and this really was much more about the idea of get your kids outside.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we concentrate so much, and the food nannies and the food police and the food activists concentrate so much on what we're shoving in our gobs, and they don't make any mention of the lack of exercise in this country. That ad mentioned an hour. That's generous. I've seen studies that say kids are getting 7 minutes of free play, outdoor play every day. So we are not an active society. We are not getting as much activity, and we can blame it on soda and Happy Meals and fast food and school lunches and this and that. And we never talk about parenting. We never talk about how parents are not sitting down and with their kids to dinner, which has a huge impact on obesity. We're not talking about the fact that parents are not packing their kids a lunch. They're dropping them off for school for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're not talking about their lack of activity. We need to approach obesity in a much broader way and not target soda and not target these other things, and certainly not tax the poor in this country who suffer from very high rates of obesity.
All right, Julie Gundlach with the Independent Women's Forum. You can find her at IWF.org. You can also find out more information about the event on June the 2nd if you're in the D.C. area. We'd love to see you there. And Julie, we will see you very soon. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.